rotation. We got Marco on the bottom versus Joseph up top. This is our Simic mid-range up against Demir, so we will get that fixed. This is an Is It Cauldron player who audibled, essentially, entered it as a Cauldron, wrote down the changes in paper, and decided to play Demir instead of Is It. And treating him quite well so far.
Turn 1 Lanarolves. You love to see it.
You absolutely do. And just such good art. That's the real one. I like it.
That's a classic.
It really is. So Llanowar Elf here, and just looks like a Watery Grave tapped.
All right, and there's the limited All-Star. Gene Morph. Is it Imago?
I'm not sure. I knew I was going to butcher it no matter what, so I was kind of hoping you would butcher it first, Jim.
I am not your guy for that, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So plays that first, then is able to make a creature a 3/3.
Just showing off here a little bit.
Yep, exactly. Proper sequencing, even though we're not attacking.
All right, so this is a huge tell so far.
Yeah.
Not attacking with Lanarolves, leaving up a blue. So there is Into the Floodmaw, Bounce Off, which is the unsummoned variant, and a Spell Pierce in the deck too.
So plenty of stuff that there can be. Now, this is an open deck list here on day one, so it's not like this information is known to Marco yet. But so that definitely leads me to believe that Joseph was not bluffing.
All right, we got a hold here. So mapping in the face of 2 open mana is bold.
Especially on your best card.
Right.
Unless you have it. Yep.
So wasn't lying the first time, has a Spell Pierce.
Oh, but Bitter Triumph was not fully cast there, so maybe jumping the gun a little bit. Joseph essentially gave Marco free information there, and then, Marco gets to choose. You want the 3 life? Do you want the to discard the card?
It's hard not to jump the gun on a juicy Spell Pierce.
Oh, yeah.
It feels so good.
No kidding. Yeah.
So good.
I would maybe be Spell Piercing before the spell was even on the stack.
Right.
Yeah.
When I'm on Arena, I'll actually hold the Spell Pierce up and wave it around.
I do too.
Go on, cast your card. Come on. Go ahead, cast it.
I'm the exact same way. Whenever anyone's watching me stream or anything, they're like, wow, Corey, you're impatient. And I was like, well, kind of true.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do. Marco plays Starting Town here. Getting that 3rd land untapped. And then let's see what we got for a follow-up here. I see a Drowner. I see a Curiosity. And I believe I see a Kaido, as well as a Preacher. So Marco has that very solid mid-range handful of power.
This is what I was saying, though, where these flyers are quite good. Normally, Preacher would kind of brick wall these big ground idiots on the ground. But you see flyer, get some lands going here. The Imago goes. This is a lot of damage in the air.
The problem is we haven't found the lands. So far, Joseph is just like, come on, any lands here give you just a good chunk of damage.
However, the converse to that, though, is that Joseph is ahead on board, 4 creatures to 1. Joseph's hand's all spells.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of like, Scrooby's Flood thing where, it's a little mana screw right now, but there's a lot of gas in the tank. There is some early aggression, and then once the lands do come, the hand can really explode.
Exactly. Pretty interesting here. Without having land 4, leaves Curiosity on top. Wow. That's interesting. I don't know what that tells of a hand besides the fact that you're like, I'm going to find a land eventually, and maybe it's my best card.
Yeah, it's certainly a powerful card in the matchup.
Yeah.
I love it. Pure tempo.
Yes. Get that Preacher out of here. Maybe could have did that during Joseph's turn if you're going to do it anyways to avoid any kind of possible counterspell, but hey, Demir doesn't usually play that many counterspells for what it's worth.
Yeah, they're down really low these days.
Yeah.
I see 2 Phantom Interference in the deck list for Marco, and that's more than usual. Usually it's only 1.
Yeah, totally agree. Just a pass from Marco here. Definitely, signifying that you have a Curiosity. It's the classic 4 mana with a Collected Company deck. Be like, what could I have?
Yep. I just got nothing. I got only lands.
Yeah,
really,
dang it.
Really unlucky over here.
Okay.
So a little pause before combat.
Looking like we want to do some drowning. Maybe Joseph just hyped to get into the red zone here. Acting a little fast. There we go. Drowner tapping down the powerful flyer.
Yeah, and Marco's already at 11. Just shipping in damage. Oh,
baby.
Love that card. Royal Treatment. Get that Royal Roll in. We got one of those in the box there.
Yeah, let's see. We're chock full of royal rolls, I imagine. Say that 10 times fast.
Nope. All right, and this is a little bit of combat trick here. At least leaves a roll behind.
Yep.
If it gives hexproof and the roll has ward 1.
Yep, plus that +1/+1. So this creature is going to be a 3/3. Gets to not get tapped down from the Drowner.
That's not the official royal roll token. That's 6 damage.
Yeah.
That's half Marco's life.
Joseph Hand must just be chock full of ways to just interact.
I really love the spread here, too. 1 Spell Pierce, 1 Royal Treatment, 1 Repulsive Mutation. Just a real variety pack of different things, making it very hard to play against.
Very true, and especially if when Joseph makes it to day number 2, doing very well on that prospect, will have the ability to use that to his advantage in an open deckless tournament.
Absolutely. Yeah, very unique here to have half open, half not open deckless. Usually it's one or the other. It's kind of cool to see players navigate that.
Yeah, I do like it, and it's hard to prepare for. Like most of the time, if you get ready for a Pro Tour that's all open deckless, you see so many one-ofs in basically every deckless because you get a lot of value, a lot of miles on those one-ofs with your opponent ideally playing around, maybe playing around things too much.
Yep.
But now you gotta kind of live on both edges.
So good news for Marco here, getting in the air a little bit with a Siren, but really up against it. And at 5, and again, Joseph's hand is just all spells. Unless Joseph is running the biggest long con of all time and actually has land 4 for the Curiosity on top, that would be just... I'd fall out of my chair.
Big brain stuff for sure. Absolute big brain stuff. Had the Enduring Curiosity in hand, Marco did, to be able to cast that, but you look at that on this battlefield, it does not look great. So trying to find a land, trying to find more flyers.
Yeah, and these are 2 cards that are typically great ground blockers in Preacher and Enduring Curiosity.
Yeah.
Like both cards, you just shove them in there, block, make that trade. But the Flyers getting the job done.
And honestly, there are a lot of ground creatures in this deck, for what it's worth, in Joseph's list. But just didn't really draw that half. Got a lot of Flyers, and man, if we ever hit a land and we can go land, Curiosity, attack with 3 Flyers, you got to be feeling excellent. But still no land from Joseph here.
Looks like we're getting in the red zone.
Getting in there.
Marco's got something to say about it. Not much, but looks by the look of the hand.
It looks like almost nothing at all. And wow, just picks it up. Does not have enough to deal with it. All I saw was Tidebinder, Curiosity. I think he just realized, like, I can block once, and then this next flyer I have is not going to be enough to stabilize the board here. So that's game number 1, going to Joseph. Marty on, some spice. Absolutely. This is definitely a deck that is firmly in the other category, Jim. So looking at the sideboard here from Joseph, we got 1 Annul, 2 Heretics Reclamation, 2 Keen-Eyed Curator, 3 Repulsive Mutation, 2 Sabsunin. Oh, I hate seeing that card. Lost to it in Limited and Aether Drift every time. 3 Tishana's Tidebinder, and 2 Unable to Screams. What are you doing from that side to be able to close out this match?
It's interesting. The big question against Amir is always, can I get under them? Can I stop them from getting under me? So play draw is pretty important. So we see with Joseph on the draw here. I think Joseph is still the aggressive deck here with Land of Elves, a lot of aggressive creatures. It's interesting the elements that these decks share, like the Enduring Curiosities and so on and so forth. But yeah, sideboard-wise, honestly, nothing is super exciting here. Nothing really jumps out at me as a must. Maybe we can tailor our Spell Pierce, Royal Treatment, Repulsive Mutation numbers a little bit. Mutation is kind of cool against flash threats. And being able to put them in a spot where they hold a mana for a certain thing and you can counter it, which is cool. But nothing really major here.
Is it a Sabsunin matchup? Probably not, right? I want to see it, but...
I love that card, but I do not think so. No.
I don't think so either, especially whenever you see your opponent being able to bounce it. Now, then again, not an open deckless tournament, but still, playing blue could get bounced. And then from Marco's side, we have 2 Annul, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Duress, 1 Feybloom Trick, 1 Ghost Vacuum, 1 Intimidation Tactics, 1 Into the Floodmaw, 2 Stab, just good old Stab, 2 Strategic Betrayal, and 1 more Tishana's Tidebinder. What do you like from this side, Jim?
Kill spell's got to come in.
Boom, get him.
Even though stab is probably not great here, I think killing Llanowar is just so important. Even killing a Spyglass Siren or some other small creature, pretty cool. Tactics is fine too. Want the cheap cards into the Flood Maw. Fable Trick's kind of cool also. If you tap to the flyer, makes some flying blockers. But mostly just Marco needs to make sure that Joseph does not get under him, and Marco can kind of get his cards going, and kind of get rocking and rolling.
I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, Bolt the Bird was so 1990. Stab the Elf is what we are all about now. So if you have some really, really nice cards, Jim, but you want to get like more cards, do you ever like just sell your cards?
Yeah. All the time.
Do you like getting just a normal amount of money back, or do you like 30% only to be used on more Magic cards?
Buff it up.
Oh, well, we got the sale for you here, Jim. You can sell your cards to Star City Games at great prices. You can get that 30% trade bonus if you just want store credit. That's what I do every time. I honestly get offended when they ask me, would you like cash? I was like, no. You know I'm going to buy Magic cards. You know I'm going to put this money right back in. So please give me that trade bonus. Give me that 30% extra. And if you want to sell some of your cards, go to sellyourcards.starcitygames.com. You can mail them in. You can go into the site. You can come here to one of these events. They're very, very good at making it easy for you to sell your cards.
I'm living proof, Corey.
Yeah.
I played Store Champs last weekend with cards I owned. Didn't have all the cards I wanted for the deck. I came here. I have a bankroll from last event where I sold a bunch of cards. It's like, give me A, B, and C. I need a Moranga region, a couple of Sulfa Star charts, and put it on my tab. No problem. Don't even got to think about it.
You just had so much extra store credit flowing around, I bet, too.
I've got a nice bankroll, yeah.
Wow.
Three-figure bankroll in my store credit.
How'd you do in your store championship? Those are pretty fun events.
I lost the finals.
Yep, so. I took down mine because the last one I played, I didn't have this guy named Jim Davis to defeat me in Roanoke, Virginia. So, yeah, I was able to take this one down.
Yeah, I drove all the way to Roanoke just to shark their store championship. I'm a Roanoke store champion. I'm a Long Island runner-up.
Oh, wow. Play the game, see the world. All right, getting into game number 2 here of round number 5. These players are 4-0. So reminder, everyone, 6 wins, 3 losses. That's the bare minimum for getting in. But players, when you're 4-0, you have your sights a little higher, right?
Yeah, you got to keep playing.
Yeah.
It's always important, I say, to not look at your record, not look at your status in the tournament, just kind of keep playing. And this is about the round where some players get a little off of that. Go, I'm 4-0. I'm 5-0, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, is this it? Is this the one? Is this the one? And you really got to try to avoid those thoughts.
Every match is the same.
Right.
That's where you got to look at it and go from there. I was going to say, are we going to finally see Stab the Elf?
Close.
Stab the Rabbit. That's close.
Stab the Bunny. Magic in 2025.
I'm here for it. All right, so another land there. Looks like Verge and Watery Grave. So mana is perfect here so far from Marco. We'll see what the follow-up is. And Joseph's extremely cool Simic deck leads with our very powerful 1/3 flyer, the Genomorph.
So much better start from Marco here.
Yeah.
Dealing with the first few threats, being able to get on the board, so important for this Dimir deck.
Yep, definitely. Now, this is a turn. We haven't seen it yet on the broadcast. Is there a powerful Planeswalker that wanted to come into play? Kaido would have looked phenomenal here.
Yep, not just yet. It's like you were saying last time we saw this deck on camera. Kaido is a little scary against these more aggressive decks.
Yeah.
It is easier to attack. It's much more impactful especially the control matchups. But in this, slower, not as aggressive matchups, but still really powerful on the play almost in all scenarios.
Yeah, I like him here. Whenever my opponent's not going to have a lot of haste, I think I'm always wanting Kaito play or draw. But, the Genomorph is kind of haste.
Yep.
Like, you could think, my opponent just has a 1/1. I don't have to tick up. And then they play Genomorph land, make it a 3/3, and you're like, I should have ticked up. Spyglass Siren coming down, getting a map of Joseph's own. And see, we finally hit a 3rd land drop here from Joseph.
2 lands worked well for him in game 1.
Yeah, no kidding. Flooding out.
Yep. We see here on Marco's side also the lack of mapping. Maps are an interesting game piece where it's just a very telling thing. You had more mana to spend and you didn't do it. Why?
Yep. Exactly. It does definitely bleed information. And I will say, players are bleeding information constantly. It's up to you to pay attention to it. And you can really learn a lot about what's in someone's hand, their play styles, and learn all that knowledge.
Ooh.
Okay. There's our beautiful counterspell, Repulsive Mutation. Wait. No counters to be put on.
Hold on. Something's... You back that one up.
No counter.
Huh.
So could have countered it, right?
It looked like it was going on the table, yeah. Okay. So, looks like it's going back in the hand.
You know, I mean, if I'm Joseph here, I wouldn't have wanted to counter that too because, well, if your opponent goes land curiosity, the game is over.
Yeah.
So I get taking it back, but giving that, believe it or not, did bleed information too. When you physically show your opponent a card, that will give your opponent information.
That is the clearest way to do it, yes.
We are here all weekend.
No deduction necessary. I have this card in my hand. I mean, that also could be a mind game, though.
It could be.
You know, good friend of mine, Andrew Jessup,
yeah.
Really good Magic player. He used to tell a story where he dropped a spell pierce on the table, and he wanted his opponent to play around it.
Wow.
You know, a little gamesmanship, too.
Mind games. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
So
I like it.
Not sure if that's the case here.
Okay.
But it's a cool thing to think about.
We're going to say it's the case here. Joseph's next leveling here. Looks like a tragic trajectory is coming down.
Welcome to Warp Zone.
So this counter spell, I believe, cannot counter it, though, right? Now this one can. It's just a essentially sensor, right? When you only have creatures with 1 power.
Yes, that is a stun counter, not a plus counter, correct?
Yeah.
So this is a sensor, force spike, daze, etc.
Daze would be pretty good in this deck.
Yeah. Breeding pool days.
All right, now the Genomorph is gone, and hey, this was the big cost of showing your opponent that spell on accident. But the other cost, I totally understand where Joseph was saying, if Land 4 and Curiosity came down, that would have been really bad, but maybe just a good lesson to slow down a bit, think about it before you put that spell on the table.
Yeah, and this is a perfect illustration of how this Dimir deck works, right? Kill the first few things, now they've gotten ahead on board, and now that threat of Curiosity or Kaido is always looming. And its threat is here, and while Joseph kind of squirms under that threat, he's playing creatures, he's playing kill spells, he's playing more stuff, getting more and more ahead. So even without the Curiosity, the effect that the Curiosity has in the game is monumental.
Yep, 100%. And then whenever, you finally do draw it, you get to just throw it out there, and it's going to be as good as possible when you are either at board parity or a little ahead. So we'll see if Marco can have the ability to play one of those and close it out. I think I did see a Curiosity in hand. It's just missing land 4.
Gonna go bushwhack here and get an island.
Trying to get those land drops. And now, sure, you can leave 2 mana open with that repulsive mutation all day, but Marco is ahead on the battlefield, so he doesn't have to play into it. So that is a brutal aspect of this whole dynamic, is if Joseph doesn't have any proactive element to play, doesn't play Drown or anything, there really isn't any proactive elements for 2 outside of some bounce spells. You can kind of put yourself into this weird spot. All right, there is bounce off and into the Flood Maw.
So the problem is these bounce spells are really good at a tempo game like last game, where Joseph is attacking and getting ahead on board. As purely defensive measures, they are not great.
Much worse, to say the least. Yep, no kidding. Losing our Genomorph here was a huge deal. And looks like Marco does have 2 Enduring Curiosities in hand, so I would not be shocked if we just see the classic 4 mana, land go, play one at end step, untap, play another, and kind of close the game once we hit 4 lands.
The big note here is that Joseph's just at 4. These little 2/1s are just getting the job done.
Exactly. And now it looks like Marco has the choice of crack map, try to hit a land. If you know a land's on tap, you definitely do it. Or hold up Bitter Triumph here and just kill something at end step, let the land come to you. Love this play by Marco.
Yeah, with Joseph at 4, we'll just get this game over with. We don't need any more fancy stuff. And then, if things go wrong, you still have Curiosities in your hand, which is great.
No reason to take a risk right now. I'm totally with you, Jim.
All right, Joseph's hiding to get out of this one.
Yeah, gonna be tricky. Just a lot of interaction here. The Genomorph was kind of everything. And the one problem I will say with Genomorph here in Standard is cards with landfall in general have a very big problem, and that is the fact that, well, you need lands and a good curve, and that's asking a lot of a deck. Just having to have that kind of perfect draw of a good curve out with creatures and then still make land drops while still having spells. Not always easy.
All right, we're getting repulsive.
So this was for 1/1/1 counter, making it a 3/3, which is very important. But unless Joseph has anything, which I do think he had bounce off, you could just put a map on Spyglass Siren and attack for lethal.
Yeah, interesting spot where, like, the lethal is, the fact that Marco might go for lethal here into the bounce off is going to maybe work Joseph. But this is a pretty simple, what is this?
Is that Enduring Curiosity? And to be fair, Marco's going to play that. This bounce off can just bounce it, and then you can go to 1. That's the option. Or you bounce one of the creatures.
Neither option's good because both creatures have ETBs.
Yeah, I almost like just bouncing the Curiosity. Hope I can find one more blocker. Because then you stabilize, But as it stands now, Marco gets to still represent lethal next turn while drawing a card. I mean, I think it's bad either way. Don't get me wrong. But
yeah, this is a pretty tough squeeze.
And now Joseph needs something very special.
Because the reality is that we're looking at Joseph trying to survive here. The game isn't Joseph surviving. The game is Joseph winning. So after Joseph does manage to survive somehow, now he needs to come all the way back and actually win the game too. So,
Ouroborid. That's how you say that, right?
I think it's Ouroborid.
Ouroborid? Okay.
Definitely be wrong.
We'll have chat help us out here. Jim and I, experts at card pronunciations, but, we can get something wrong every once in a while, right?
Most of the time, yes.
Most of the time. That's what I meant. Yeah, that's right. So now everything gets cranked up a bit, and if you leave that card unchecked, it can do some nasty things. So big turn. Marco can have pretty much anything and end the game. I think I see a long goodbye.
That would do it.
Yeah, that is a card.
It's got a good, like, Schwarzenegger style, say goodbye as you cast it.
Get to the chopper now immediately. And that'll do it here. Just doing the math. Make sure Joseph was at 2. And that's GG. Game number 3 between these two players.
Tale of two games,
Yep.
Again, the mirror deck it's a pretty hard deck to play.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of play going on in deck building and sideboarding and then gameplay. But it really is somewhat simplistic in that, like, when it gets on the board, it does very, very well.
Yeah.
If it falls behind, not so much.
Exactly. And it is a deck that, like, it's not like it can't catch up. The Dimir deck, you're playing a lot of removal spells, a lot of stuff at instant speed. It's the possibility, but I'm with you. If you can be playing that tempo-style game, Dimir is really cooking. So starting with Marco here, any changes we want to make? Play draw. It does look like Marco is doing something.
Yeah, I could see on the draw wanting to be a little more controlling. Lean a little more on the removal spells, a little less on a card like Kaido. Kaido's probably coming out or being shaded in the draw.
Yeah.
4 copies is a lot, So trying to ensure that Marco can cast a lot of spells in the first 3 turns and stay alive and not have that fall behind situation happen.
Yep, and that makes sense. And from Joseph's side, pretty pleased. Are we bringing in Sabsunan on the play?
I'm sorry, Corey, I don't think we are. However, Mutation looks a little better on the play to me. Where the counter spells are really good when you're ahead. So having the ability to get a little ahead, use the counter spell and put it in. It's funny, it's a 1 null there.
Yeah.
Against the deck playing for Enduring Curiosity, it is the only target, but it is such a good target.
Yeah.
A little cheeky 1 of a null. I don't know. I see that and I want to get a little frisky.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Probably not, but we'll see.
We shall definitely see. Feels like a VV Cauldron card more than anything. So before we get into our third and final game here, want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of this event. We would not be able to do this stuff if it wasn't for our beautiful sponsors, Beckett and Dragon Shields. If you want to check out all the stuff that these two sponsors offer, feel free to go check them out. Dragon Shields, amazing sleeves. They've been in the industry forever. Fantastic, high-quality stuff. And then Beckett, if you ever want to do any kind of card grading, you got that high quality, those high-value cards, you got to take care of them. So being able to get your cards graded and really increase the value of them is a big deal, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Beckett's also been around forever. I recall being a kid having, like, the baseball card price guides from Beckett, like 30, 20, whatever, a million years ago at this point, So great company, been around for a long time. They know what they're doing.
Absolutely. So you can find them both on the website. Find some Dragon Shield products over there. Pick them up in a variety of colors. as well as Beckett will be able to use promo code Star City if you want to save yourself off 15% on some of their grading services. Good stuff there from our sponsors. Thank you for sponsoring Paper Magic. And getting back down to the game here, game number 3. Gonna see Joseph on the play. Got to be a big deal with the Llanowar Elf deck, right?
Yeah, so important. So important for both Joseph's deck and then just also in this particular matchup.
Yeah, totally agree. Now, that can still, of course, happen. The classic, play Llanowar Elf. It can still die. You know, Dimir can kind of break that serve a little bit better than Simic can. You know, there's no Hornet Sting, style of removal in green-blue, where green-blue is a deck that does not catch up very well at all. So I think Joseph's play versus draw win percentage, drastically different if I had to guess.
Yeah, for sure. Cards like Bounce Off, Into the Flood Maw, kind of cards like that, definitely a lot better on the play. And they're cards that are, like you're saying, really bad when you're behind.
Mm-hmm.
Bouncing a creature, have them play it again because they're still at 18 is not where you want to be.
All right, well, that's a lot of lands from Marco, but it looks like it's a keep, and I think it's a keep from Joseph. We're finally going to see it happen, y'all. Stab the Elf is going to happen. I don't see a world where it doesn't. They both have both of the things.
That's a nice Llanowar Elf, too.
I know. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
It would.
Ooh, but now drew the trajectory.
Llanowar Elf says, what are you going to do, stab me? Says Elf that got stabbed.
Says the last thing that someone said before you got stabbed. Yeah, absolutely. Now it is a choice, though. We drew trajectory.
All right, well, fine. You know what? Just make Jim wrong. It's fine.
Yeah.
I set up a great joke.
You really did.
And it's just so tragic.
Tragic the Elf does not roll off the tongue at all there, but we'll have to live. All right, we see our play here to get that binder down here. I always forget the full name of that card.
This is so funny.
Asher's Beast Binder.
It's so funny because Beastbinder is kind of a fringe card in Dimir, so it's funny to see the Dimir player reading it from a Simic player.
Yes.
It's a really cool card for the Simic deck because Simic deck doesn't really get good removal, but being able to kind of like, all right, your thing's 2/2 with no abilities, I'm going to go around whatever you're doing is pretty clever.
I mean, very good at attacking into a Vivi.
Yep.
Good luck making that work next turn. That is maybe public enemy number 1 with the Beastbinder. And then we see Spyglass Siren and just a pass, not using the mana with 1 black open.
Yep.
Someone's getting stabbed.
If you're an aware Magic player here, it is almost impossible to not know that Marco has stab in their hand.
Yeah.
Because it just can't be
anything else, yeah. Nothing would make sense.
And that's what good Magic players do.
Yeah.
Instinctually, habitually, just, why'd you do that?
Exactly.
Okay. Run through my checklist of the things. Well, stab is the literal only one. Check the box. It's either a bluff, which is really unlikely, or a stab.
Exactly. And even if stab doesn't get cast now, you either put it in your memory bank. Sometimes I write it down. I usually write it down in a coded fashion, maybe just an S or something.
Yeah.
And you keep that knowledge with you, and then let's say your opponent's down to 2 or 3 cards. What if you deduce 2 of the 3? Right. Now all of a sudden you kind of are playing with your opponent's hand face up. And believe it or not, that's an advantage.
So heads up play from Joseph here, mapping onto the 1/3, which is it is stabbable, I guess, technically, but...
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. It's still not going to be big enough because we did this. But if you're fighting, Bushwhack does fight. Yes. So, if Stab were to come down and that was still a 1/3, that would not be a fight that the Beastbinder was going to win.
It's not. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. If it
was a 1/3, that would have been brutal.
That would be very bad,
yeah.
Yes.
And gets it in there. And, hey, Joseph, whether he felt out that Stab was there, definitely sequenced it in the proper way, put the map on the right creature. Joseph played that turn perfectly around a pretty face-up Stab.
Is Azure a Beastbinder and Outlaw?
Ooh, a Rogue? I believe a Rogue is an Outlaw, yes.
Okay, so there are not a lot of ways to remove this. Never mind, it's dead.
Okay. I'm not 100% sure if a Rogue is, though. I'm pretty sure a Rat is not an Outlaw, but... you never know.
I think a Rogue is. But
yeah, I think so, too. A Rat should be an Outlaw, though, as well. All right, Paw Patch Recruit, bringing the offspring here, a little extra cuddly rabbit.
Excellent card against Dimir.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good.
Hate that card when I'm playing Dimir. Hate it.
Flood Pits Drowner, alongside their removal spells.
Just everything. You have to set it up in such a way where you have to go, like, end step, point removal or spell or two at a couple of your creatures, and then have one during your next turn when they're gone. And, not always possible to do so. These Dimir decks also just don't play that many sweepers anymore. Sometimes we see the Regent, the Dragon sweeper, but outside of that, you really do not see any anymore.
Man, Marco's so unlucky here. Just plays the 4th land, says go. Just doesn't have anything.
Just doesn't have a thing.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because Joseph was kind of tapped out here. If there's a repulsive mutation here, Marco gets wrecked. So this was bold for Marco to not just main phase this. I get it. You want to go for the ambush block, but it could have went really badly.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised to not see the counterspell here.
Yeah.
Joseph attacked pretty quick, too. I mean, again, it looks so face up.
Yeah, what's Joseph's hand, I wonder? Must be a little flooded here. When normally that's not so bad when you got some of your landfall stuff, but...
Yeah, that was a devastatingly backbreaking turn.
Oh, yeah. Curiosity lives. There clearly isn't a bounce off. There clearly isn't a repulsive mutation. And now Curiosity just gets to go to work.
Wow.
Easily could be a Snakeskin Veil style of effect. There could be the royal treatment. That would make a little bit of sense to me, but nope, doesn't look like it.
Yeah, so now me and Corey are in the booth run down the options for what's in Joseph's hand, and I'm running out of options here.
I know, me too, besides lands,
Joseph could have his own Curiosity,
yes,
I suppose.
Yes, that would make sense. But no, you would have played it. You would have drew your card.
Right, we drew a card, yeah. So, yeah,
It's lands, Jim. It's lands. It has to be. Nothing else makes sense.
All right. Once that cat draws the first card, man, your heart sinks.
Yeah. Once that Curious Cat gets to strike once, you're in trouble. The win percentage on any Curiosity deck has to go through the roof when anything connects once.
Right.
Right. Restless Reef comes down for the land and a pass. Just a Soulstone Sanctuary coming in, and I believe we saw a long goodbye. Might be a fast goodbye here.
Coming in and going out.
Hello and goodbye.
Hello, hello.
I was trying for a subtle Beatles reference there, but, way to just spoon-feed the audience, Jim.
Who are the Beatles? Like the little bug?
Yes. They're really cool bugs. You might have heard of them.
Was that a tribe in Bloomborough?
It was, yes. They're outlined.
The bugs, the Beatles. That'll be the ant set.
Okay. Curiosity coming on in. Gets to draw another card. There's a Kaido. There's a Tidebinder. The world is in Marco's hand.
Yeah, Joseph, I'm just... What happened?
Bummer. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, landfall probably shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I'm thinking those two cards in hand should probably be able to trigger that pretty well, but I think we've just gone too far. This is looking really brutal.
Oh, man. And this is the Dimir snowball. Once Dimir gets out from being behind and starts to get ahead, the ahead bar, the advantage bar just pins to one side.
It is like a snowball going down a hill and gaining speed. Right. I think that's why they call it snowballing magic.
Yeah.
It's now clicking for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just a really tough place. You got to think what could happen here to get Joseph back into it, and I'm not seeing it.
It's the vanilla Tidebinder.
3 mana, 3/2 flash. Let's go. Now we're going to have 7 damage coming in. Could have 11. You could just represent lethal, and I like it. What kind of crazy, hasty shenanigans is my opponent going to do here? I want to represent 3 attackers that go through, pretty much anything, but honestly, Marco could do whatever.
Either choice is pretty good.
Yeah.
I agree with it. If you fire up the reef and something happens to it, you get it for 7. It ain't that bad, but there's Kaido, too. Kaido's good, too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Take a good 7, Joseph. Down to 3. Gonna draw 2 cards. Kaido draws another card. Is a free Ancestral Recall good, Jim?
It depends on if you have put spells in your deck.
Okay. That's why we pay you the big bucks.
We're getting paid?
That's why we let you hang out.
I do like hanging out.
Soulstone Sanctuary comes down. We're doing the Surveil thing. Gets rid of Kaido and Siren. Doesn't need these spells. And looks like we have an Into the Flood Maw here, as well as a Drowner in Marco's hand. So it's going to be all she wrote here. But, man, I want to see some more of this Simic aggro deck. I really want to see it against Izzet. You were saying you just saw Joseph kind of working a Cauldron player here on one of the top tables, right?
Yeah, it was last round. It was like table 4-ish or whatever.
Okay.
Joseph was wrapping it up and taking it down.
Sweet.
And I've heard the Simic deck has a decent Cauldron matchup, but of course you hear that about every deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's working out so far. You know, this game could have got a little better for Joseph, but
yeah.
At 4-1, still a great spot to be. The deck's really, really cool.
Definitely. 4-1's doing really, really solid. Probably going to end here. Into the Flood Maw is going to put a counter on the other rabbit.
Yeah, so
just a Spell Pierce there in hand. And that's going to do it. We got Marco George taking that down here 2-1. Able to win those post-board games. Have a bunch of removal against this Simic aggro deck. And really be able to